I found my elderly parents shivering outside my own house, while my in-laws threw a party inside like they owned the place. It was raining that night, thin, cold streams cutting through the still air. I parked a short distance from the house, watching the windows glow with light, laughter, and the sound of music. It looked less like a home and more like a celebration of betrayal. Through the open windows, I could hear voices, clinking glasses, and bursts of laughter. And there, sitting outside by the gate, were my parents. My father's hands trembled as he held my mother close beneath a soaked shawl. Their eyes were distant, confused. When I walked up, both of them looked up, drenched, shivering. "My son," my father said, voice quivering, "why won't they let us in?" That question, fragile, innocent, carrying so much pain, burned through me like acid. For years, I thought I had everything figured out. A caring partner. Supportive in-laws. A home built from my sweat and savings. We weren't even married, just living together, but I believed love was enough to bind us. When my parents grew old, I promised myself they'd never live alone. It was my mother's last wish before her illness took her strength, that my father would never be left by himself. So when my partner suggested they both move in with us, I thought, finally, someone who understands. Her parents began visiting more often, too often. They had opinions about everything, how our home should look, what my parents should eat, even how I should run my life. I mistook their meddling for love. But love doesn't come with control. At first, it was subtle. My parents started skipping dinner, sitting quietly on the back porch instead. I asked my mother once if everything was fine. She smiled faintly and said, "I think your partner's family doesn't like old people around." I laughed it off until the day I came home early from work. The sound of laughter filled the living room, my partner, her parents, and her cousins. Then, I heard my parents' bedroom door click shut. Moments later, her mother's voice sliced through the noise. Finally, they got the message. "The house smells like old age when they're around. Your man doesn't see it, but we do." Silence. Then my partner's voice, calm but cruel, "They'll be gone soon. I'll make sure of it." I stood there frozen, fists clenched, heart pounding in my ears. I wanted to burst in, to scream, to defend them. But something inside whispered, "Not yet." From that night on, I became a ghost in my own home. Smiling. Agreeing. Pretending. But behind every nod, I was watching, listening. Every insult, every sneer, every whisper that cut at my parents, I recorded it all. Hidden microphones in the living room. Cameras disguised as ornaments. Every word saved to a private cloud. While they mocked the two people who had given me everything, I began to shift the ground beneath their feet, silently. The house, which was legally mine, was refinanced in secret. I changed beneficiaries, created a trust in my parents' name, moved every asset they believed was theirs. And I waited. That night, the night of the party, they went too far. My father called first, voice trembling over the rain. "They said there's no space for us tonight," he said softly. "The guests won't feel comfortable." My mother's voice came faintly in the background, trying to sound brave. "It's okay, we'll stay outside for a while," she said. But I could hear the hurt behind every word. I left the office without a word to anyone. When I reached home, the gate was locked. Through the rain, I saw them sitting there, both of them, shivering, holding each other under a tiny umbrella. Inside, the music thumped. My partner danced barefoot across the marble floor I once told her we'd grow old upon. Her parents raised their glasses in celebration, laughing, feasting, living like they owned the place. That was the moment I decided it was over. I walked my parents to the car and drove them to a warm hotel suite I'd reserved days earlier. "You'll sleep here tonight," I told them. "Tomorrow, everything changes." My mother looked at me quietly, as if she already knew. My father nodded, his eyes filled with something between grief and trust. Morning came like a reckoning. I walked into the house. The aftermath of the party still clung to the air, spilled wine, broken laughter, and the heavy scent of arrogance. My in-laws were sprawled across the couch, half asleep. My partner looked up, startled. "You're home early," she murmured. "Not home," I said, my voice low. "Just visiting." I dropped a thick folder on the coffee table. Inside, photos, voice recordings, financial statements, documents that revealed every lie, every act of manipulation. Her father smirked. "You think this will scare us?" I smiled. "No. But I think the eviction notice taped to the front door will." Their laughter faltered when my lawyer stepped in behind me. Silence swallowed the room. The house was legally mine, and the trust I'd created transferred every right, every wall, every tile, every memory, to my parents. They had 30 minutes to leave. When the truth sank in, chaos erupted. My partner screamed. Her parents cursed. They packed in a frenzy, sweeping jewelry and cash into bags. She cried, begged, promised to change. But I stood still, calm, unshaken. When the door finally shut behind them, the silence that filled the house wasn't empty. It was peace. I took out my phone and called. "Come home," I said softly. An hour later, my parents arrived. They looked uncertain, almost afraid to step inside. I handed them the keys. "This is your home," I said. "Always was, always will be." My mother's lips quivered. My father's eyes glistened. For the first time in years, their shoulders relaxed, as if the weight of humiliation had finally lifted. They walked through the doorway, not as burdens, but as the rightful owners of their peace. And as I watched them, the rain outside slowed to a gentle drizzle, like the sky itself was cleansing what once stained our home. Please like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories. And remember to make someone smile today.